Alrighty guys, we're back for Simic Turtles, and this is a Duskmourn standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked, but first things first, this was a suggestion over in the Discord. So thank you so much for the suggestion, it's gonna be a fun one. We got 4 Bedrock Tortoise, 4 mana 0/6 during your turn, creatures you control have hexproof. Cool. But not the main reason it's in here. This bottom ability is pretty sick. Each creature you control with toughness greater than its power assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. That's every single creature in here, so this should really do the thing. We got 4 Greenshells, 5 mana 4/6 with reach. As long as you control 10 or more lands, creatures you control get +2/+2. I don't know how often that actually happens, but we do have some ramp packed in here, and there's some ramp on the bottom ability here too. So whenever Greenshell or another creature you control with toughness greater than its power enters, you look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield tapped. Otherwise, put it into your hand. That's pretty cool. You know what that doesn't say? That doesn't say once per turn. So yeah, I think that ability should really come in handy. Now, our very top end, we have a couple, the Pride of Clade. 11 mana, 2/15 legendary creature. Look at this. Crocodile Elk Turtle. Cool. Now, luckily, it costs X less to cast, where X is the total toughness of creatures you control, which honestly, I don't think it's going to be unheard of to get this down to just 1 green mana, which would be pretty darn good because it's a great blocker, of course. Now, it does have Defender, unfortunately, and for 2 and double blue, until end of turn, target creature you control gets +1/+0, gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player. Draw cards equal to its toughness. Okay. And it can attack as though it didn't have Defender as well. Pretty cool stuff, man. We outside of the turtles, we have some frogs packed in too. We got a couple of Dreamdew Entrancers. 4 mana, 3/4 with reach. When it enters, tap up to 1 target creature and put 3 stun counters on it. If you control that creature, draw 2 cards. 3 stun counters is a lot of stun counters, and I think this will actually be pretty terrific in here. Got a couple Clifftop Lookouts as well. 3 mana, 1/2 with reach. And when it enters, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a land card. Put it onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. All right, we have more ramp packed in with 4 Armored Scrapgorgers. Of course, being a 0/3 in a deck list that cares about your toughness is pretty good, but just being able to tap for 1 mana of any color is great, but then also a little bit of graveyard hate goes a long way, which is also a reason why we have all 4 Soulless Jailers. We've been seeing a lot of Mini Reanimator has been everywhere, but also just normal Reanimator too, so... The 2 mana 0/4 permanent cards in graveyards can't enter the battlefield. Players can't cast non-creature spells from graveyards or exile as well. I think this will really do the thing today. We'll see. We'll see. We have a couple Insidious Fungus too. It's a 1 mana 1/2. For a 2, you can sacrifice it and you get to choose one of these. Destroy target artifact. Okay. Destroy target enchantment. Okay. Or draw a card. Then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. So even more ramp packed in. Pretty cool creature, man. I don't think I've seen anyone playing with this fungus yet. I think you should keep your eye on it. We got some tempo packed in. We got all 4 Into the Flood Maws. That'll do the thing. We also have a Machine Over Matter. And since it costs 1 less if you control an artifact creature, Soulless Jailer is totally an artifact creature. But honestly, if you're paying 2 mana for this ability, you're probably fine anyways. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand is a pretty good ability, especially when you have some counter spells packed in. Got 3 Phantom Interference, doing the countering thing, but then also every once in a while giving us spirits. And then we have 3 steps ahead as well, doing the counter thing, but then also it has those other abilities too, especially the draw ability. I'd say we activate quite a bit. Okay, the mana base, guys. We have all 4 Botanical Sanctums, because I think the early land is going to be pretty important. We have Lakeside Shack. I think it'll be actually pretty good in here. We have all 4 Fabled Passage. We do have an Escape Tunnel, which might be an interesting choice. So the top ability, you can just sacrifice it, grab a basic, you know, that normal ability that we see all the time. The bottom ability, you can tap it, sacrifice it. Target creature with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn, which is super interesting if you have like Bedrock Tortoise on the board. Okay, leaning a little bit forest because that's what the deck is leaning towards. No honorable mentions today, guys. What should have, at the very least, made the cut as an honorable mention? Let me know in the comments. Guys, I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, and see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? It should be janky, but I'm also expecting a little bit, obviously. I think when we pull off the Tortoise plays, when we pull off like the big booty cards actually swinging in with their toughness instead of their power, I think it's gonna give the appearance of really good. We go first. I think this is a fine hand. Totally fine. We have like Into the Flood Maw, into Soulless Jailer. Soulless Jailer is like a really good blocker too. Keep the Into the Flood Maw open, of course, here. 25 total mana in this list, so a really good chance. You know what? I am going to take the turn to tempo that out. The problem with doing that on turn 1 is some of these lists run Felonious Rage. Oh, nice. Scrapgorger is huge. That's a great draw. Much better than the Soulless Jailer for now. Yeah, if it's Mountain, Heartfire, Hero, Felonious Rage, then our last turn was pretty much for nothing. But we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening here. All right, they're looking at that Scrapgorger. Land off the top, I think, would be pretty good, especially untapped land. I'm going to go Demonic Ruckus for the turn. So untapped land is huge news. So you can get the Jailer down. That's 7-3. Pride, the Hall of... Wait, the Pride of Clade, that's what it's called. My goodness. Actually, we don't need the untapped source until next turn, but it's good to have. It's really good to have. I guess we'll still prioritize land, though, over the deck thinning on the Fable. It's a little bit of a tough decision, because I'm trying to base it on what's in hand, but we don't know what creatures we're going to lose, so the Pride of Clade might end up still being really, really expensive. So what I probably should have done there was scare them with a potential Into the Flood Maw. So I should have played the forest, tapped both forests for the Jailer, and kept the island open, because obviously they don't know what's in hand. So maybe they would have played around Into the Flood Maw a little bit, but now they don't have to. A Demonic Ruckus giving Menace to the Heartfire hero is pretty darn good for them. Oh, guys, this should be the first video since the Leyline ban. Yeah, Leyline's out. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. Go for the swing. I'll try to block. I mean, taking less damage is kind of important until we establish our bigger and chunkier things. So, and it's not Scrapgorger because we might successfully ramp into the Greenshell. This is a lot less damage, guys. I'm not mad about this. And the Soulless Jailer won't do too much against mono red, so... All right. Into the Flood Maw is terrific, actually. Bouncing the hero is so good. We're going to grab blue source on the Fabled Passage. Maybe. Ooh, we were like freezing or something. Of course, very tempted by the Into the Flood Maw this turn, but being at 19, I don't think we should be too scared. Also, Greenshell helps us ramp a little bit too. Well, potentially, it could just be some good card draw as well. The Greenshell ability in general will help us ramp. Once it gets down and we can start playing like Pride of Clade and stuff, we do want to be careful. We don't want to lose the Greenshell to a buff spell. Or a combat trick, I should call them. Yeah, because this is a super value creature, and getting it down on turn 4 is so good. Woo, Bedrock Tortoise. All right, guys. All right. Yeah, so next turn we'll take the damage from the hero. Oh, we're going to have to. They're going to give it menace, guys. Anyways, so... Wow, just opting for the draw at the end must mean they have another one, right? Oh, I mean, they get the extra counter too. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I was thinking... Well, we don't know what's in their hand, but I was thinking, like, yeah, they're going to want to save as much for their turn. Because, like, for some reason, I still think of prowess whenever I keep, like, combat tricks back. Yeah, Heartfire Hero, I hope they don't give it double strike, dude. Because Menace, Trample, 6/6. The Into the Flood Maw is unfortunately going to be the play next turn, but we can always start with, like, Tortoise. Scrapgorger, no, we can't start with Tortoise anymore. That's rough. Well, we could see... I guess we could see mana. We do not see mana, but Soulless Jailer is pretty good too. Well, we will start with the Soulless Jailer. Yeah, we want a green and a blue open. See what we see here. Onto the battlefield. Heck yeah. Can get the Fabled Passage onto the battlefield. Oh, wait, we could have sent it to hand and played it. We didn't play a mana this turn. Oh, that's fine, though. Everything else is fine still. Let's see what we draw on the Pride. I guess if we see, like, another Into the Flood Maw. Oh, okay. It's a Botanical Sanctum. Do we do the Flood Maw before their turn? I can't think of... I'm going to do it. I can't think of something that they could do in response. But I'm going to do it now, just in case there's some surprise that I'm just not clearly thinking through. And I think we will start swinging because next turn... Okay, we got to be careful. Pride of Hall Clade has Defender, and it costs 4 to get rid of that Defender. So it's not like we're swinging for a 15 off the Bedrock Tortoise next turn, but here comes Heartfire Hero. Yeah, guys, I think it also would have worked to keep the Into the Flood Maw open for this turn as well. But I'm also, like, I'm not 100% certain on that. So, I guess we'll thin the deck first because I'm interested in more cards draw over the Greenshell over ramp, right? We'll grab a green source. I don't think it really matters right now. If only we still had our poor Armored Scrapgorger, we'd be able to do both this turn. All right, let's get the Tortoise down. This would be a pretty scary turn for the opponent, honestly. Oh, Insidious Fungus. Nice. Nice. Wow. Phantom Interference should be huge. We're definitely keeping that open. For sure. All right, let's do these swings. Swing for 10. See what the opponent does. I think the opponent's in a lot of danger, man. Best thing that they could do is try to throw this Heartfire Hero, but now that we have a counter spell in hand, did we get a little lucky? I don't know. I mean, with the double Into the Flood Maws, those were, like, absolutely necessary to deal with this Heartfire Hero. There's a reason we have all 4 of them in here, though. Monstrous Rage. I will allow it. we're at 13. The big thing we have to be cautious about is well, not a lot since they didn't play another mountain. And anything else that they play for the turn, we can counterspell with the Phantom Interference. Which I guess we don't want them to draw, so we should counter that. Yeah, we don't want them to draw a mountain while boosting the hero. And we do have terrific blocks here. Obviously, we'll easily take the 6 from the hero. They dropped the GGs. Good game, opponent. Awesome stuff, man. Awesome. So obviously, there's plenty of ways for mono red to go a little bit faster than the order that the opponent ended up seeing. But, like, this is still no joke to go up against and survive. I'm pleased. Yeah, yeah, you could see why we have all 4 Into the Flood Maws and even other tempo packed in as well. Or bounce spells too. Like, there's a good reason. So the Phantom Interference, the counterspell didn't necessarily matter, but I guess they could have found, like if we didn't have the counterspell and they boosted the Heartfire hero, then they could have potentially found mana, played the mana off the draw, right? And then threw the hero, and the hero would have been 7. So technically, that counterspell was kind of important. Because, yeah, hero would have been 7. They could have thrown it. It would have been 14 damage. We were at 13. If they saw mana and a throw as well, though. All right, we go first. Wow. I mean, I can't complain about this hand. Not when we're going first. Edge Maze. Machine over Matter. That's the other bounce spell I was talking about. Which is now just 1 blue mana since we have Soulless Jailer out there. So that's kind of neat. Up the beanstalk, dude. Simic versus Simic. Into the Flood Maw. I'll definitely go into Lookout here. Fourth mana's good. No swing. Oh, Teamer colors. Uh-oh. Overlord. Uh-oh. Gotta go fast, guys. Let's do this. Right into our Tortoise and start swinging. But what are the odds of board wipe next turn? Another Into the Flood Maw. I don't mind seeing all these, but I don't know how much it's going to do right now. Dude, it's just Tortoise. We gotta start swinging. Yeah. I hope that's fine. Next turn, we have 12 on the board if they don't disrupt this at all. If they decide, like, chump blockers is the... Uh-oh. Let's see their discard. We might lose our whole board here. Let's see it. Only 5 damage. We don't lose the Tortoise. That is huge news for us, guys. That means we're still in this. If we would have lost Tortoise that turn, I think that would have been it. Easily. Oh, no. Oh, no, it's a card we can't play. Crap. All right. Swing. Down to 8. Machine over Matter could protect the Tortoise. Cornucopia, a little bit of life gain, really is going to go the extra mile for the opponent if they can gain like 2 life off of that. Okay, it's not another ill-timed explosion. Great news. Do we tempo with the Into the Flood Maw on any of their cards? Like, I don't know if they need that ramp right now. Scorching Dragonfire does... Instant speed, they got another one then. They're going to double down on it. Because Cornucopia and Everywhere is still open. So I guess Machine over Matter, Bounce the Tortoise is our best hope. Wow, they sacrificed the Hauntwoods, guys. Wasn't that about to flip into a creature? Now we could tempo the Cornucopia pretty well here. I say we protect our Tortoise because that seems like a great idea. Remember, Into the Flood Maw says return a target creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand. If the gift was promised, then the opponent gets a tapped fish, which isn't too bad. So these should fizzle out. And at the end, I will, I suppose, give them a tapped fish. Nah, it's not worth it. It's not. It's not. It's better to get rid of future blockers, and we'll see if the Tortoise can survive this turn. The opponent used a lot of cards to try to get rid of that Tortoise. The 3 steps ahead would have been much, much better. That way we could have had the Tortoise on the board still to swing. Ill-timed explosion number 2, drawing them to, let's see the discard. No discards. It was used for card draw. They got 4 remaining. 3 mana Overlord of the Hauntwoods draws them. I mean, they got to see their top end soon. They're drawing a ton of cards, man. Cavern, nice. Call, turtle. Beautiful, man. Maybe we just keep the counter spell now because they have 4 cards in hand. They have so much mana. I'd love to play the Greenshell, but I'm pretty sure we just keep 3 steps ahead, right? That's a shame. We won't have Into the Flood Maw too. Not that turn, at least. It's just 3 steps ahead. Cornucopia is a pain because they're going to be gaining from this too. So the 6 from the Tortoise probably doesn't get there this turn, but it could if it's just one color that they play. But I doubt that. I'd be shocked if we get there, honestly. I feel like we really took our time getting this damage. See, like, make your own luck is even 2 colors too. I think they'll easily go up to 7 for the turn, all while trying to get rid of Tortoise. The big toughness is huge in a deck that's prioritizing damage over just straight up removal, right? Torch the Tower, Scorching Dragonfire, Ill-Timed Explosion. Like, all has to do damage. Doppelgang. Yeah, they're going back up to 7, but that's a counter spell, buddy. That's a counter spell if I've ever seen one. And we might as well draw 2 as well, see if we can see a little bit more here. Wait. If they copy the Hauntwoods, it becomes a creature, right? It won't be impending with the counters. We have 2 Into the Flood Maws available. They go back up to 7. And they're copying the up the Beanstalk as well. Hold on, guys. If we go copy Tortoise and then Into the Flood Maw, they're 2 Overlords. Call me crazy. I'm going to copy Tortoise. Let's see what happens. This could be very, very risky. Counterspell would be less risky. But they're getting 2 Overlords, right? Because X is 2 on the Doppelgang. Let's see it. Let's see. I'm sorry, opponent. I'm using these timeouts. They get ramp. They get a bunch of card draw. They have 2 mana open right now. Okay. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Copy Tortoise. Yeah, second Tortoise. And we can do this on our turn. But I think we're just going to do 1 right now while we have the open mana, because we could see something that we need to draw into. And then, look at that. 1 mana Pride. Into the Flood Maw. It was worth the risk, guys. Both Tortoise have hexproof on our turn. GG opponent. About to swing in for 12. I almost missed the copy. I did. I mean, if that was a... First of all, if that was an X's 3 Doppelgang, then it would have been the counter. Because 3 Overlords we weren't going to get around very easily. Since we had both Into the Flood Maws in hand. That was crazy, dude. What on earth? All right, let's keep the ball rolling, guys. While I have you here in the middle of the video, make sure you check out that description where we do have that Discord link as well as that Patreon link too, if you're interested in joining either of those up or supporting the channel that way. And then also, if you like the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. And if you enjoy the channel, then consider subscribing as well. It really does help out the channel. And thank you, guys. All right, with the YouTube nonsense out of the way, you guys think we're going to be able to keep up this pace? I mean, the deck list, it should be janky. It's kind of doing the thing right now. Doing it well. Has great tempo plays. Oh, buddy, this is a mulligan, right? Right? Oh, dear. There's so much to draw into. Opponent goes first. That's the scary part. We got to find some of the early tempo. I'm gonna do my dandiest to keep getting these victories. We're gonna mulligan. I hope it's not a... Yeah. Let's see what we see. All right, early counterspell. Send one of the shacks. I don't know if it's better, but I'm not going down to 5. So I hope it's better. We have the turn 1 shack. Turn 2 sanctum, so we'll have the interference open. Oh! Scrapgorger's great. That's great news. Let's see what the opponent's playing, though, first. Oh, Charter Course right away. Oh, you know what? This Scrapgorger really is going to come in handy, isn't it? Oculus Engrave. Crap, we gotta go. We have to go faster than this. Oculus is about to come back next turn. That was very fast for the opponent getting that. Oh, it's tapped. It's tapped. That is great news. Oculus is gonna be out of there. Fable for next turn. I'll use this now for the other Scrapgorger. Pick up the Oculus while we can. That should be a huge problem for the opponent. It really should be, especially yeah, with second Scrapgorger. That's gonna be such a pain in the butt. Now we have Phantom Interference. This is good. This is good news. Picklock Prankster. That's okay. That's probably okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They grab a Into the Flood Maw and Oculus Engrave. If they try to reanimate, we counter that. Oh, they have 4 mana though. They get around the Phantom Interference. Crap, guys, crap. That's bad news. Maybe I should have hit the Prankster then. Okay. I'll make them pay, I guess. I never know if that's worthwhile. But in this deck list, paying 2 means they don't have Into the Flood Maw. Or a counterspell, like their own Phantom Interference. Still get the 6/6 Oculus, so we're in danger, bro. So if I would have countered the Prankster, that still gives them their full turn, like, while we're tapped out. So that's a lot. There's a lot to think about there. Onto, like, what's actually the best course of action. All of our turtles are in hand. Let's grab a forest. The Oculus in air being a 6/6 means that our Greenshell's really struggling. Tortoise can be a surprise for next turn, maybe. Greenshell gets bounced by the Flood Maw anyways. I don't know. I don't know what the best course of action here is. I wish we had better targets in their graveyard right now. But, oh, Dreamdew Entrancer. That is actually really good, isn't it? Ardent Gust is the exile, maybe? Yeah, put that onto the battlefield. Yeah, Dreamdew Entrancer tapping down Oculus. That's pretty darn good. Yeah, they got tempo, they got counter spells, they got fast-paced, big old chunky creatures, like absolutely everything that a tier 1 deck list needs. It's super scary, even when seeing the graveyard hate that it didn't actually end up mattering. So, yeah, but again, countering the Prankster, it doesn't mean, like, they still had their 4th mana. They still could have found something in the grave that turn and still hit the Oculus, so we'd be complaining about the other side then, if I countered that. I don't know. That's tough. That's a really tough decision. So they have 2 mana open, guys. Could easily be a counterspell. However, I believe, yeah, their 2 mana counterspells that they run is usually Phantom Interference. So going Entrancer, tapping down the Oculus is actually pretty good for us still. Have 3 mana available then, after the fact. It's only 3 mana. We do this, we're ramping a little bit, taking 6 in the air. Alright. While they only have 2, we'll get the Dreamdew Entrancer down. We'll put 3 stun counters on the Oculus and see if that's enough for now, but every single turn they are manifesting dread on the Oculus. So, most likely Phantom Interference here then, right? And 4 cards in hand. They could still have a little bit of tempo, maybe. Getting the Greenshell back down before playing our Entrancers could have been cool too, because of course, like, that bottom ability. All right. Well, that's just a Pride Hall with Defender. At least we're defending well. I could swing with the 1 Scrapgorger, right? When we swing, when it taps, we'll still exile, and then it'll become a 3/3. And then if they double block, it's fine, I guess, because we're still trading 1 for 1. I guess that's okay. I don't know, man. We'll hit the Into the Flood Maw. Because they still don't know what's in hand, so we could still have tempo in hand with a double block. That would be pretty devastating for them. Oh, they are going for the double block. So it's a 1 for 1 trade. Was it worth it? Because they still get the Manifest Dread after the fact. It was a recommission, wow. It's going to be Into the Flood Maw. Yep. That's brutal. I don't know how we're going to keep up pace with this, man. This Oculus came out way too soon. Okay. See what the opponent draws into here. More mana. That's probably good news for us, honestly. That's a lot of mana for Mini Reanimator. Whatever you want to hit, I shall exile. Oh no, it's an Oculus! Oh, they had plenty, dude. Plenty left over. Crap, man. That's brutal. Double manifests. Alright, so we'll tap this and exile Charter Course. All the extra reach should be good, but the extra Manifest Dread, dude, I mean, I don't even know. I don't know how we're going to keep up pace with that. Fabled Passage. We'll play that now. We'll grab a green source again, right? That's totally fine. I'm thinking about the draw on the Entrancer, but we probably shouldn't do that. Right? Play it, tap our Scrapgorger, draw 2, have 2 mana open still, and then play the Pride. So many tough decisions, dude. Let's go Greenshell, because it also has reach, and then a double block into their Oculus that can actually swing. Well, a double block from the Entrancers would have worked too, but now, really, they got more tempo means no Pride of Hall Clade. Hey, there we go. Okay, that's good at least. We found our own Into the Flood Maw. Brutal stuff, man. Let's see what the opponent ends up doing here. I think it's okay to pass it back. No, maybe it isn't. Maybe it isn't, guys. We don't want them to have a 3 steps ahead because they only got 2 mana open right now. And it's a Phantom Interference. No, you know what? Having that other Scrapgorger around would have helped us tap the 2. So the swing totally wasn't worth it last time. That's what we just learned. Adi Jin off the top. Dude, what on earth are we gonna do about this, man? All right, great. We can actually block here and here. So we're only taking 7, down to 7. We should be more than equipped to deal with a deck list like this, huh? I think so. The problem is, yeah, there's just so much great things happening on the opponent's side. Instead of Scrapgorger, if we saw Jailer instead early on, it would have been less ramp, but that would have completely stopped their Oculus. Another Greenshell. Well, at least it's not tempo, and at least it has reach, and at least we can get the Pride of Hall Clade down. However, we're very much gonna die here. They dropped the nice. Ooh, a lot of mana on this board state, man. All right. No swings. They got a terrific full swing here. Math is for blocker's turn for sure. We're going to have to block that Hottie Djinn. Chump the Oculus. Oh, they might have found tempo. Just bounce it right back. No worries at all. Yeah, we're going to have to block 2 of the... It's a Parting Gust. Oh, that'll do it, opponent. That'll do it. Wow, really good draws from the opponent this game for sure. All right, let's get these blocks. So we're actually forced to chump here. We can only block on the ground here, so we're still taking 10 for the turn, guys. Ah, man. So wait, if we had the other card, we could have survived, right? I think so. Yeah, we would have had to chump the Oculus, trade into the Hottie Djinn, but we'd still be around for the turn. Dude, what a game. That deck list, I've been saying it, and it's like I'm a broken record at this point, but that is a terrifying deck list. And I'd be surprised, like we're already seeing a lot of it. I'd be surprised if it doesn't like stick around for a while, you know what I mean? Okay guys, last match of the evening. I think we can end on a high note. I'm pretty satisfied with how the deck list has been performing so far. And I'm pretty satisfied with like the arrangement of cards as well. Like the numbers that we have put in. No blue source. Don't let this hand fool ya. We should mulligan. Opponent goes first. Yeah, we need no guarantee that we see a blue source for like the next 10 turns. So, mulligan. Okay. With the opponent going first, the Pride of Clade can get cheaper than the Greenshell. We should send 1 Greenshell. Keep all this extra land. And we probably shouldn't thin the deck. Might Caller. Probably some bunnies. Going first against bunnies would have been huge with this interference in hand because their turn 2 is usually pretty good. Phineas is a problem, but luckily it boosts the other bunnies and not the Might Caller, but still that's a huge problem. Uh-oh, guys. Should we have went down to 5? Probably not. On shield hair. We should hit it while we can. We should. I mean, that wouldn't have been worth not swinging, right? Okay, Shack will be untapped source next turn. Same thing with the Fabled Passage, too. We got to get these blockers down, dude. 3 steps ahead, ready for a full counter on some tokens. Oh, buddy. That's good. That's good stuff. They swing for 4, down to 10. We're still in danger. But, I mean, we could easily see at least one of our blockers, our early blockers. Sanctum. Oh, dear, guys. We have a whole turn of doing nothing, and the opponent has a whole turn of doing something. Let's go ahead and grab a green source here. Thin the deck out right now. No reason to like hold that open on the opponent's turn or anything. We do have our 5th for the Greenshell, but we're in danger. Actually, we're gonna die. We can't just play the Greenshell, guys. We're gonna die no matter what. They boost the 2/2s and that's it. It was too slow. Oh no. Dropping to 5. We could have found some of our early tempo. Wow, they still have a Knight Errant on the top too. Very nice opponent. Bunny's still looking terrific. Their edition of bunnies has Pollen Shield Hair, which is pretty cool. Phantom Interference would have been so much better than the Sanctum last turn, guys. Ah, jeez. Because we could have, actually, wow, Into the Flood Maw? Crap, man, we saw everything out of order. Hey, good game, opponent. We'll go ahead. Let them get the fun swing with bunnies. A bunch of bunnies and frogs swinging into a big old chunky turtle is pretty cool. You killed my turtle. I can't believe you've done this, opponent. Tarnation. What in tarnation? That's funny. All right, all right. Let's go over this deck list again, guys. It is what you would expect, right? We had some really great games where we were totally able to do the thing, but overall, it's gonna still be pretty janky, and that's fine. Like, it's totally fine to have a janky deck list every now and then. What's that? Is that an end of video pack I see? Oh, end of video 2 packs. Ooh. Let's see what we see. Marina Vendrell. Cool. I think that's my 4th one. That's probably a little bit unnecessary to have 4 of. And Mythic Wildcard. That's what you like to see. I'm doing my dandies to save up my wild cards for the next set. That is my 4th one. Wow. Oh, man. Fear of Failed Tests, I believe, was in the original deck list here, or the original suggested deck list. It didn't make my cut. Here's the deck list again. I liked it, dude. It's gonna struggle probably. The meta's tough. The deck lists are really, really good. However, as far as jank goes, man, it'll probably still perform a little better than whatever expectations you have for the list. You know what I mean? If you're going into it just like expecting it to be absolute garbage, then I think you're wrong. But it's still going to be jank. So put it on the do not craft list. There are a lot of rares packed in. Entrancers are rare. Tortoises are rare. Greenshell, rare. This Pride of Clade is a mythic. By the way, I'd keep this at 2. If we saw too many of these every game, I don't know. I just like... The defender really does hold it back. And if you take a whole turn to pay 4 mana to actually swing with this... That's tough, because now you're not holding open your counter spells, because if you actually got far enough into the game where you are able to swing with this, then you need your counter spells open. You need to be able to counter a Sunfall after you get your like Bedrock Tortoise on the board and everything, you know what I mean? So speaking of which, I like the arrangement of our 6 counter spells, 3 steps ahead, 3 Phantom Interference. But guys, I barely know how to function with counter spells. So these can be your counter spells of choice. Base it on whatever you're seeing. Maybe you don't have all 3 of these 3 steps ahead. It's a rare as well. I would just like go up Phantom Interference instead. Just opt for common counter spells. That being said too, the 3 steps ahead, it's really good for a good reason. It has all those other abilities packed on, like where we were able to copy the tortoise and actually win that one game. That was freaking sick, dude. So copying cards like that have ETB effects like Entrancer or Lookout is also really good. So Entrancer was decent and Lookout was decent. I like the 2 of both of those. I think it works in here. Just having toughness, like look, they don't all have to have the biggest booties in the world. They just need to be toughness greater than power, especially for like drawing on the Greenshell. And it's not technically drawing, it's revealing. If it's a land, you put it on the battlefield tapped. Otherwise, you put it into your hand and you're not drawing the card. But that's kind of important when, you know, Shieldred is still floating about. And that's the wording is very key there. This Greenshell guy, I like this. This is cool. I wonder if there's a list where, you know, outside of Turtles where it could be like a 2 of and be quite successful. Some kind of ramp list or something. And the ramp list, of course, has to have creatures with toughness greater than power, but in the right ramp build, we might actually be able to pull off the 10 or more lands on the board too. And I think that ramp build would kind of look like Doppelgang, right? Because you could Doppelgang your lands then. And if you're going like Doppelgang deserts or something, then you're Doppelganging your lands, dealing damage to the opponent's face, and getting 10 or more lands on the board. So you're boosting your board state by +2/+2 as well. And it'd have to be like such a specific list, but this is really neat. And I think I want to revisit this at some point. It's a really neat turtle. Scrapgorger and Soulless Jailer. You guys saw how absolutely terrifying that mini reanimator list was. Soulless Jailer would have just been above and beyond if this was on the board instead of Scrapgorger. But remember, the whole game would have changed at that point too, where we wouldn't have actually had the ramp from the Scrapgorger. But outside of that, permanent cards in graveyards can't enter the battlefield should be a really good ability right now. And does that mean you need 4 Soulless Jailer in every deck list? Absolutely freaking not, because the only actual reason it can successfully be in this list is because it's a 0/4, so toughness greater than power. Once you hit the Tortoise, it's swinging in as a 4/4 too, or blocking as a 4/4, right? Because the bottom ability on Tortoise, of course, is any combat damage that is being assigned from those creatures. All 4 Into the Flood Maw is going to be absolutely terrific and essential, especially against all the incredibly fast-paced aggro lists. Machine Over Matter being the 5th Into the Flood Maw, kind of, sort of, totally works, man. But this could also be, like, we don't have too many counters, but Serum Snare proliferates, and you could proliferate Oil onto the Scrapgorger and proliferate stun counters onto the opponent's creatures as well. I think Machine Over Matter, just like having the option to sometimes be 1 mana, is more important than having the potential of proliferating when we don't have too many counter generators in here. So I hope that makes sense, right? There's other options too, like there's that Dismissal card where if it targets an attacking creature, it's also 1 blue, but I don't think Dismissal is I don't know how to spell. Oh dear, there's oh, here it is. Oh, Dispersal. Oh, that's why. Okay, maybe I was spelling the other thing right then. Dispersal, 3 mana instant speed, 2 less to cast if it targets an attacking creature. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Surveil 2. Surveil 2 doesn't help too much. Well, in this build, it would just be like kind of sort of scrying then, right? But this would only target attacking creatures, or it only targets creatures in general. Attacking creatures, obviously, it targets much better. But Machine Over Matter, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. I think I like the Machine Over Matter. And then the other card that I just brought up too is Serum Snare. There it is. I still think I like Machine Over Matter more. Plus, this is just the 1 of in the build, so I don't know why I'm going over it so much. Well, I guess what I'm getting at is I would keep this as a 1 of. Honestly, sometimes you're going to want even more. It really depends what you're seeing in the meta. The mana base felt great, didn't it? I like these new common lands from the new set. I don't know if I've seen the opponents really playing with these too much, but in the right build, they're totally fine. And I opted for all 4 of them in here because I think more often than not, while you're establishing your things, sure, you're going to have great blocks and every now and then, but the opponent's still slipping damage through. It's going to be really easy to have a player at 13 or less. And then also, we're more than capable of dealing huge chunks of damage thanks to our Tortoise. And so, you know, after you have Tortoise established, you get the opponent down under 13. Now every shack you see is still going to be just beautiful, untapped dual land. And the dual land is very important. We have like double blue and 3 steps ahead and double green, unlike the Greenshells or Simic colors on Entrancer, right? So overall, it's going to be relatively greedy and important for your mana fixing. Didn't see the escape tunnel do a thing today, but that's fine. I'll still keep it at a 1 of, and I still like all 4 Fabled Passage, and the 2 Cavern of Souls is probably really going to come in handy too, because there are a lot of counter spells floating about, especially like Phantom Interference popping up in the mini reanimator, and some of them are playing the 3 steps ahead too, especially since the bottom ability helps them discard as well. So, woo! Lots to talk about here. We didn't get to see Insidious Fungus. I still think it's worth the 2 of, hopefully. That could potentially be one that you could drop and opt for just more tempo. And when I say tempo, it means different things every time I bring up tempo. But usually when I say tempo, it means something that disrupts the opponent's side, but doesn't like completely kill the creature or exile or whatever, right? It just like does something that slows them down for the turn. So Entrancer dropping stun counters, I consider that tempo. Bounce spells, I consider tempo, right? And I guess sometimes counter spells too, but that really depends on what's going on. Like a good tempo play, for example, would be a full-blown Phantom Interference where you're countering and getting a spirit that's significantly slowing the opponent down. But that's besides the point. You know what? Let me know in the comments. What do you guys consider tempo? Because now that I'm thinking about it, I guess I don't know. I don't know what people mean when they say tempo. I know what I mean, but okay, guys. Hey, if you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you. Hope you enjoyed the deck list as much as I did, and I will see you in the next video.